Hi everyone, my name is Hadel-Lynn, and for once after nearly a decade, actually more than a decade, I'm actually back where I was born and raised for a while, back in Japan, and we're gonna be exploring a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new from the perspective of myself as an adult. The old will be Yokosuka. This was where I was born and raised for 6 years before I moved to the US. A little bit of Korea in between, but that's irrelevant to this video. And then now getting to see it from the perspective as an adult, where I get to be a tourist and actually be able to afford being a tourist, exploring Nagano, Tokyo, Yokohama region, and also Shizuoka. Sorry if I butcher that. And then also, we're gonna be visiting all of the old sites that I went as a kid. I'm now the same age as my mom when she had me, so this is a very interesting perspective. So we're gonna be visiting all of that, and I'll be telling you all what I've learned and also how this place has shaped me to who I am now. So with that, let me show you a little bit of Yokosuka. Walking around my old neighborhood, it's almost as if time stood still, as if nothing had changed from when I was a kid. From the Benny Decker Theater, where I'd always watch movies with my family, to the elementary school, to the daycare center I'd always spend my summers in, to the American Grill, where I'd always eat chili cheese fries, to the Dunks that contributed to my love for Dunkin' Donuts as an adult, to the Taco Bell that contributed to my hatred for it now. However, looking at it from an adult perspective, there certainly are some changes that have been made from when I was a child, such as when I walked into the old apartment building that I used to live in, almost everything looked updated, to the automatic screen doors, to the remodel. But there were some places of familiarity that I could sense, like the area that we would always put our stuff that we'd want to give away to other folks in the corner, in that box over there. That's still kind of the same concept. The McDonald's that I used to play in as a kid no longer has the play area, but I feel like that's most McDonald's nowadays. And now when I'm walking outside, it's almost as if I just see it with different eyes, walking through the Japanese stores, walking through the Mikasa. As an adult, I genuinely can't believe I walked this much as a kid, and yet I was a big eater. That's probably why I'm just tired from walking around so much. But the one thing that I've always been excited to return back to is my favorite tempura shop, which is actually owned by several elderly Japanese ladies, and I don't know if they're the same Japanese ladies, to be honest, but I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. When you just look inside it, it is such a small, close-knit area, close-knit space. Even the equipment that they're using, it still probably is the same from when I was a kid, but just watching these ladies work and make their magic inspiring. And once I get that tempura bowl, there's so many positive memories that come flooding back the second I take a bite, and it's the same, if not better, from when I was a child. Hi everyone, I have to talk really quietly because I'm at a cat cafe and I want to interview the cats and see what they think about the world right now. However, there are some changes that I've noticed within myself. For instance, I am now so excited to play with cats at a cat cafe. That was not something that I was always excited about as a kid, but now I really love animals. And in addition, my mom, however, she's still the same, trying to get all the free tissues in the street while walking around. For context, I was born in 1998. I was born in the Yokosuka hospital, and I spent 3 years of my life here. And then I went to Seoul, Korea for like 3 years. Came back again, and then for another 3 years, and then went straight off to the US. And the last time I was here, I was actually around maybe 16, 17 years old, and so much has changed from that point. From that point, I was stressed out because I think at that time, I remember I had a photo of me with my SATs. I was stressed about getting into college, stress about who I was going to be and what I was going to grow up to become. Now, 10 years later, I'm at a point where I'm actually happy and relaxed. I have no idea what's to come in the future, but I'm more excited for it. 2 bachelor's degrees later, and a whole whirlwind of careers later, I'm now a 27-year-old registered nurse with 1 year of experience, and I no longer get to be a dependent on my parents. So now I'm financially independent, but I still live with my parents. But I just paid off all my loans also, so that part's free. And seeing it now, being able to actually genuinely enjoy just being here without having the stresses of my prior life or other things, just really embracing that I'm on vacation, that I get to reminisce, and all of this is actually something I don't want to take for granted. The most memorable parts of Yokosuka was always going to pepper lunch with my family and just enjoying their sizzling plates. I try eating it in the US, but it's not the same. And walking at night to the mall, getting the discounted bento boxes, and just seeing the updated food court from before, but still seeing some familiar names of the restaurants. It's honestly so beautiful. Alrighty, so we're hiking the trail to see the Snow Monkey Park. It takes an hour, and a good chunk of it is uphill, but it's really nice out here, so hopefully we make it in time. Despite having lived in Japan for several years, I love how there's still something new to explore, such as going hiking in a forest to see snow monkeys bathe in a hot spring, to learning about castles that are still intact and retained within Japan's culture and history. So what you should know when exploring Nagano, it's a mountain city. So it's very cold, it's very windy. It's nearby where the snow monkeys are, so if you're really into seeing the snow monkeys, Nagano is the region you're probably gonna go. Matsumoto City is definitely a place that you should look into, just because it's small, it's charming, but it also has a lot to do, surprisingly. We're here for about a few hours just exploring the festival that they have, and I don't know, it looks very nice. It actually reminds me of my Boston days when they would close down the streets so that people can just walk around, and I love supporting local vendors and supporting local businesses, so I'm here to support however I can. What I love is that Nagano is such a cute small town, and I love supporting local businesses. Shout out to Nonai for their t-shirts, and shout out to Mac Consulting for their omazaki. And there's basically this deep sense of community that's not really seen in the US. It's just because everything here just runs so slowly that you kind of get the time to know the people around you and form true connections, and I feel like that's something we need to keep doing here in the US as well. So we are here in Kamakura today, and if you just look right behind me, it is the giant Buddha. There's this level of peace here. So the Buddha represents Zen Buddhism, and there's just this level of peace that is happening around here. I think it helps that it's a weekday and it's super windy, but it's pretty huge, and it's just a lot to take in all at once, and to think that I used to come here as a kid is crazy. Walking around Kamakura, all I feel is this level of peace and security, which honestly I feel like the US has been struggling with for a bit. Instead of having to hustle every day to survive here, all you have to do is just live, which is something I hope to get to someday. I realized I have been bamboozled. There is a ton of stairs coming my way. What the heck? This place has been here for a while and they couldn't make elevators. In addition to the many actual physical steps I have to take walking around this region, I love how there is this intersection of retaining your cultural identity while embracing new things. As a Filipino American, there's always this struggle of having to stay true to my culture and who I am, while also embracing aspects of myself that culturally would be against it. Here, it just all intersects beautifully, and maybe that's how life truly is supposed to be like. So we're here in Shizuoka, and right behind me is Mount Fuji. I guess Shizuoka is one of the sites well known for the view of Mount Fuji. We're on Mishama Skywalk, and apparently it shakes when moving, so we'll find out how fun that is. We actually didn't get to stay too long in Shizuoka, but the main impression that I got from this area is basically how creativity can be found anywhere. We walked on the Mishima Skywalk that could apparently sustain a level 8 Richter scale earthquake, and then crossed over to this area where when you hike around there's these cute little egg designs everywhere that just bring me so much joy. And then we went over to a strawberry farm that they found a way to produce fruit all year, and in addition, it are the best strawberries that I've ever had in my entire life. This honestly helps because lately my creativity has been lacking with all the changes in my life, and so it just reminds me to always make time for myself and my passions, because who knows, it could either make an impact towards me or even towards others. We just got into Tokyo off of Shibuya Station, and even on a weekday it's like packed. And so let me just show you my view coming out of the station. Tokyo is basically where Japan just comes to life. I actually took a food tour and I learned that there's always something new to experience here. Although fast-paced living isn't really my thing, I do enjoy always trying something new and being willing to get out of my comfort zone, which is something I really enjoy about Tokyo. So I'm currently here in Yokohama Station, and if you look behind me, it's basically the second you get out of Yokohama Station, it connects to a mall. And I guess there's areas where you can get clothes for really cheap. And if you just kind of look here, almost everyone is taking advantage of the prices that are like pretty much sliced in half. I personally haven't seen a frenzy like this since like the old school like Black Friday days, to be honest. Yokohama made me feel this sense of nostalgia in a way I genuinely didn't expect. It reminded me so much of Boston, which is a city I love and miss every day. I loved how walkable it is, how there's a ton of stuff to do without feeling so overwhelming. As a kid, we only really went to Yokohama for food as like a stopover, so actually walking around in the city for once really allowed us to get to know it from a different perspective than just treating it as a pit stop. This won't be my last time in Japan, but I will say this time was a lot more memorable than the last. The one thing that made it different is realizing how all of this couldn't have happened without my parents, especially my mom. Growing up, my dad was in the Navy, and sometimes it would take him away from us for a bit, and she was always the one that took us to all of these memorable places. And for that, I say thank you, and I love you, and I dedicate this video to you, Mom. And don't worry, I made sure to leave Japan with a very important souvenir that would always remind me of where I came from. Thank you so much for watching this video. I've had a blast making this video, and I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. I will take the memories that I have exploring Japan's different regions, both my home area and the outside area, with me for forever. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. And with that, I wish you all a very good day, just like here, and a very good night.